Internet! My name is Catherine Barsonistas, and you are watching the Gluttonous Geek Presents Munchies and Minis, a cooking show where I work on making a recipe inspired by various tabletop role-playing games such as Dungeons & Dragons, Shadowrun, Pathfinder, and, whatever the kids happen to be playing these days. And by kids, I mean us adults with, growing up issues, like adolescent issues. That sounded a lot better in my head. Anyway, we are on our 20th episode of Season 2 today, and yes, I know it's not Wednesday. Shit happens. And, so today's recipe, we are going back to Dungeons & Dragons, even though I don't really think we really left it. But we are going to the Forgotten Realms campaign in no other city than Baldur's Gate. So today's recipe, Helm and Cloak lemon fish. The Helm and Cloak is, I want to say, an inn in Baldur's Gate, not a tavern, and they very much emphasize this because it's considered one of those, well, think of it this way. You know that really, really nice Marriott you find in various cities where it has the whole standard hotel, restaurant, and bar where it's, they don't really emphasize... It might host a convention. Anyway, basically, they're kind of the D&D fantasy equivalent of one of those nicer hotels that happens to have a really big wine list for no particular reason other than they want to prove themselves as fancy. They are known for their pretty much cooking every single thing that they have on the menu in wine. As well as a couple of dishes, including spiked potato stuffed fowl, or glaze, or in today's recipe, fish with a hot lemon sauce. So we're going to be doing that. Hi, Chiptone Brony. I'm doing it. It's definitely Friday. I am recovering from a week. Not really fully productive as I'd like, but, I am trying to get back on the things. So, we're going to be making some crispy skinned salmon today with oven-roasted potato and fennel, and with a lemon beurre blanc, which is a French-style wine sauce made with, obviously, lemon. But we're also going to be going for a bit of a provincial style of cooking. Now, the city of Am from the Forgotten Realms campaign, I consider, it's been considered more of kind of a medieval Spain, Mediterranean sort of city, and not too far north is Waterdeep, followed by Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate seems a little bit more on the, northern sea of things, like probably around northern Mediterranean, kind of that sort of French and English sort of combination. So, considering that this is sort of the fancy pants sort of restaurant in Baldur's Gate, we're going to be going with provincial style cooking, French style recipe, involving fried, essentially roasted potatoes with roasted cherry tomatoes. So now that I have basically blathered on for the past, 4 or 5 minutes, let's get started. So what you're going to need is first a frosty beverage. Hey babe, can you bring me my frosty beverage from over there where I had so haphazardly left it? Thank you, my love. And luckily, it is not nearly as stupid warm as it has been recently here in Atlanta. It has finally cooled the heck down. Partially, I want to say, because of the hurricane that happened to pass by not too long ago. But also, it's middle of September now, so it is nice to not have to spend my entire day essentially in my underwear. Right, so what we're going to be using are golden potatoes, usually marketed as Yukon potatoes. We're going to be using those, as well as a fennel bulb. Now, the recipe I'm going to be putting up for my Patreon subscribers is going to be using about, I want to say 2 of these golden potatoes here, as well as either one very large fennel bulb, or in this case, if your fennel bulb happens to be rather small, which it's likely to be considering it is later in the season, it's not going to be as large of a yield as you're going to get probably, say, during the middle of the summer. I should have gotten 2 of these, but I only got 1, so we're just going to be using about 3 potatoes today with our fennel, as well as a pint of cherry tomatoes. So first we want to preheat our oven to about 425 degrees. At least that's what my notes, yes, that's what my notes say. So preheating our oven for 425 degrees Fahrenheit. And while that happens to do its thing, we are going to slice the games. And yes, see that you beat the game, Brony. It's honestly, the Baldur's Gate series is what got me into Dungeons and Dragons. So first we're going to halve our potato, like so, and then slice it to about 1/4 inch thick slices, kind of using one slice to sort of eyeball the other as far as thickness is concerned, as you can see there. So we're just going to keep doing that. And take our mixing bowl over here and just throw those slices in. Trials of Mana. Can't remember, is that a D&D game? Or is that part of Baldur's Gate? I will admit, I've mostly only played rogues in the Baldur's Gate series. Partially, and actually mostly because the thief NPCs that they provide you with are kind of garbage. Or more specifically, in Baldur's Gate 2, they're kind of garbage, considering that the best thief in the game is Yoshimo, who, spoiler alert, dies in the middle of, well, I want to say about 3/4 all the way through the game. So you get Imoen back, which you probably remember from the first Baldur's Gate series, which is great and all, except for one particular fact is that, oh, yeah, that's right, it's 2nd edition, and you've happened to and the game has automatically multi-classed her to mage and thief, and has put all of those beautiful, beautiful skill points into mage levels. Which, there's so many better mages, but there's no other thief available. So you have, either you play a thief, or you are at the mercy of pretty much every deadly trap there is towards the end of the game, and trust me, there's a lot. Either that, or you have to multi-class yourself just to make up for the slack. It's really annoying. It's not D&D or Baldur's Gate, it's just a JRPG by Square Enix. Cool. Man, I haven't really played any Japanese RPGs. I will admit part of it is it's just they're so expensive. It's like I'm seeing some of them like going for about $100 on Humble Bundle of all places. I mean, I'm sure that there are fun games to play. I'm just kind of looking at that going, how? How? Yeah, let's see, I just made it through another point-and-click RPG called The Whispered World, which, it's very kind of classic sort of hand-drawn animation style of RPG game. A lot of the stuff that you saw back, I want to say back in the 90s, even, that sort of point-and-click RPG game, and it was, oh goodness, I have mixed feelings about this game. It's very charming. The animation and artwork is beautiful. The ending is very touching, but the puzzles are either fun or completely counterintuitive. I even found one of the food items in the game, and the name of the food item is called Honey Elixir. I'm gonna have to look up Trials of Mana. Get a chance to actually play it. Though, oh, by the way, if you happen to have a Steam account, there is currently a sale going on for pirate-themed games on Steam, including the Monkey Island series, which I managed to complete my Monkey Island collection. It's about 50% off of the prices right now on that game alone, but there's also a ton of other games currently on sale. I saw Assassin's Creed, that pirate version of Assassin's Creed. I also saw a Black Sails themed game, which I need to point my friends Adam and Jesse to because I know they're huge Black Sails fans. Okay, that might...
Why is it pirate-themed stuff?
Because the reason why there's pirate-themed stuff right now is because International Talk Like a Pirate Day, I think, is tomorrow. It's International Talk Like a Pirate Day is tomorrow, so keep that in mind. Okay, so next up, we've got our fennel here, which is also known as Italian fennel, or bulb fennel. You can find it in most grocery stores with a decent produce section now. It's got kind of a sort of licorice sort of aroma to it, but it's fantastic roasted up and like caramelized in the oven whenever you roast up potatoes, as well as with onions. We're not doing onions though because I wanted to keep your ingredient list a bit lower, and also to not fight too much with the other flavors I have going on with this recipe. So you see here, it's got these long stalks here. They're great to keep on hand and freeze for various stocks and broths and everything. But we're also going to keep a lot of these really pretty fronds here because they add flavor and color. Nice little garnish, a nice little edible garnish for your dish. But to be able to roast this up, I need to first take off those stalks there. Set them to the side. Next, I'm going to split this in half. After changing seasons, and therefore, since I am allergic to everything, it's like I am disappointed there's no Gluttonous Geek Discord account. I will admit, the reason why I haven't started one is that I am terrible enough as it is to keep track of, like, just standard social media as of late, that I kind of don't really want to disappoint my fans by setting up a Discord and then never be on it. So I'm just going to slice these into half-inch slices. Though, you know, screw it. I'm going to chop them up a little bit more, especially since we only have one bulb. But no, I'll look into it. I'll see if there's someone who's willing to run it as a mod for me. Because I'm, like I said, it's very hard to have kind of mental energy to just handle my own stuff. And to also be honest with you, Discord confuses the crap out of me. I mean, I might just be getting old or something. So we got our fennel here. I'm just gonna, there we go. Looking all pretty and stuff. I think that's gonna be enough for 4. I'm just gonna chop up the stalk some a little bit. These half-inch pieces, because I kind of want a little bit more fennel. But yeah, maybe I'll, maybe I'll make it part of the standard Patreon membership, where if you're a Patreon member, then you also have access to the Discord. And that way I can keep the community a little smaller and more manageable until I am ready to ask Strike or something to mod for me, though. My goodness, that man is modding pretty much everybody else's games right now. Poor thing. Well, he enjoys it, as far as I can tell. Let's see. Alright, so I'm just going to hold on to these fronds because of all of these beautiful, beautiful fronds here. I'm just going to... Hey, sweetie, can you grab me a small dish, like a little glass bowl or something? Thank you, love. There we go. Just gonna do a rough chop on here. That way we've got some pretty fennel fronds to garnish our dish with later. Goodness. I will admit, I'm trying to figure out when I'm gonna do for the blog soon. I just purchased Lovecraft Country, the novel that the show is based off of. Because I'm curious to see if there's any food in there, and I've been really enjoying the show so far. And they don't really show much. I mean, they show food, but they don't really focus on the plate so much. So I want something to be at least... I have a little bit more to work with rather than just a brief glimpse of things. It's like I had pork and beans for dinner today. So yummy. Yeah, we, goodness, I think we did Kraft mac and cheese for lunch today. And you remember that stew that I made last time on Munchies and Minis? Well, we've been adding our leftovers to it and just doing the whole thing that, you know, is described in the Forgotten Realms supplement about it, where it's just you add whatever's left from cooking and just keep it simmering, and that's what I'm doing. And it's made for some pretty interesting combinations. I mean, let's see. Last, the Wildflower stopped was crazy day, well, crazy week. Yeah, I have been worried about my West Coast friends who've been stuck out with all the wildfire stuff going on. 'Cause, I mean, obviously it's scary, but I mean, considering that the sky turned red, I mean, that's, whew boy. So, we're also going to be prepping some other things, but first, like I said, I need to get all these veggies going and roasting and before I work on stuff like fish, because it's going to take about 30 to 40 minutes for these veggies to roast. So we're going to be making up sort of a little spice blend rub to go along with that. Sweetie, can I have another glass dish, please? So you're going to need some measuring spoons. And to that, we're going to be adding... We're going to be doing kind of a take on the medieval spice blend Poudre Fort, which means strong powder. It's kind of interesting because pumpkin spice is actually kind of based on sort of a warming spice, I want to say, from the Middle Ages. So Poudre Fort is, goodness, it's kind of a mix of all those various spices like grains of paradise, cinnamon, clove, cardamom, black pepper, and
So if I ask for a Poudre Fort latte at Starbucks,
they would have no idea what you're talking about, but just ask for pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice doesn't really quite have all the stuff. For example, it doesn't have grains of paradise. It doesn't have black pepper. But for the general flavor we're going to be using some pumpkin pie spice because honestly, you can find it in most grocery stores. And if you're not really one to do all that much baking or all that much cooking with all those other spices that make it up, just do yourself a favor and save yourself some money by using some pumpkin pie spice. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be using a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice with a half a teaspoon of ground black pepper. That's a half a teaspoon. But since we also want to get a little bit more of that French flavor, especially the provincial flavor that goes well with lemons and tomatoes and fish and all that, we are also going to be using some dried thyme and the whole leaf stuff, not the ground stuff. We're going to be using about a tablespoon right there. And then we're going to be adding a tablespoon of kosher salt. Oh, is it a half tablespoon? No, full tablespoon. Okay, so where did my salt go? Here we are. And I specifically say kosher salt because it is less salty than standard table salt. So we're just gonna kind of stir that all together. And next, to our veggies. Right here. See, I'm also planning on making the honey elixir drink when someone gets the oven and stovetop fixed. This is good. Oh gosh. Well, let me know how that goes. I need to play that game so I have a better frame of reference. I'm trying to figure out, what was I doing? Brain. Brain. Okay, there's my olive oil. Okay. Tablespoon. Haha, here it is. Also, I bought honey, lemons, and vanilla bean paste. Oh, that sounds excellent. I'm not gonna lie. So you're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Just kind of drizzle that in there. Set that spoon to the side because you're gonna need it later. And I'm going to use a spatula to toss this all together. Okay. Just going to toss all of that to coat in our olive oil. Okay. That's looking pretty good. Next up, I'm just going to start adding about half of that spice blend. My husband has told me to beware of the underfoot, i.e. my cat Ginger. Whenever she smells something cooking or whenever I am cooking or just happen to be in the kitchen, she tends to try to trip me, so I will drop whatever delicious thing I'm cooking. Specifically, if it is cheese or some kind of pork product. In fact, she asks for ham by name. If you've ever seen the movie Ponyo, especially the English dub, ham! That's what she sounds like. Alright, so that's, I want to say roughly half of it. So we've got about that much left, which looks like it's a heaping tablespoon worth. So we've got that all tossed together. Just going to stick that to the side because now I need to find the largest baking sheet that can fit in my oven. And I'm just going to cover that. Some cooking spray. Sorry, not with some cooking spray. First I'm going to cover it with foil so I don't have to run the whole darn thing in the dishwasher later because I am lazy as get out. And also, an advantage of this too is that if you're not quite finished making the rest of your food items for this dish by the time it finishes roasting, you can just, when you take all of your vegetables out of the oven, you can just wrap the whole thing in the foil that it's already in to keep it warm. But first, just because I am paranoid, I'm just going to coat this whole sucker with cooking spray. And then try to spread this all out in a single layer. As best I can. And this should ensure even roasting. It should. I'm afraid to make promises because I'm terrible at keeping promises. Or rather, I get paranoid and anxious by trying to keep promises. Yay, anxiety disorder. Gotta love it. Okay. So once I've spread that out to the best of my ability in a single layer, and our oven is currently preheated, I'm just going to go ahead and stick it in the oven and put a timer on for about 30 minutes to start us out with. Top row if you can. So let's set that for 30 minutes. And now there's just a few more prep things we need to do while that is roasting. First, as you see, I've got a big fat lemon right here. A lemon tends to have about 4 to 5 tablespoons of lemon juice within a single lemon, especially one as big as this. Babe, I hate to ask you for you, but can you give me 2 smaller glass dishes, please? So first, since we're going to be using both zest and juice, I kind of want to make sure that I can get it as possible. So I'm going to microwave this on high for about 10 seconds. Hi, Ginger. Can you move for me, please? Move. Hello. Yes, you're adorable. I love you so much. Mommy will pick you up in a bit. Okay. All right. That's a hot lemon. So, first, I want to zest that lemon, because that is where the majority of our flavor is. And where the heck did I put my zester? Zester. Ah, got it out earlier. There we are. So, just gonna get all of that beautiful zest off of there. Let's see how we doing. Looking good so far, but I want all of it. Okay, how are we doing? Whew. I speak international talk like a pirate day. I actually did a Curse of Monkey Island theme recipe. I want to say my first year that I was running the blog. The photos are garbage, but what I did was there's a chicken restaurant called, God, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a fried chicken restaurant in the game Curse of Monkey Island. And, okay, so, and one thing the guy who owns it is severely afraid of is El Pollo Diablo. Okay, so take the ends off first to create a stable surface. And next up, we're just going to cut this into wedges and cut along here to try to remove the seed pod if there happen to be any. So, usually you're able to pull the seeds out by cutting like that. So, I don't see any seeds for some reason. So yeah, I made rum and citrus juice. To go back, a big thing in the Monkey Island games is that of grog, the pirate favorite. Now, granted, they mention it being all sorts of nutty things in this grog, but technically the typical recipe involved rum and lime juice. I want to say sugar. It's been so long since I've done this. So I marinated chicken in a mixture of rum and lime before. Oh, and also chipotle pepper. Let's see, what I do is put 1 cup water, 1/3 cup of sugar, zest lemon. Okay. Oh, nice. That sounds delicious. I'll have to try that. I'll have to make sure to make a screenshot of that recipe so I can give that a try. Anyway, so yeah, grog and chipotle pepper. Then I breaded them, fried them, and made it with a pina groglata dipping sauce. So I basically did kind of a coconut milk, like pineapple and grog sort of dipping sauce to go along with these chicken nuggets, and they were pretty good. Like I said, the pictures are god-awful. It was the first year I ever started doing food blogging, so you can imagine, it looks pretty damn terrible. Okay, so I've got my lemon and all that prepped. Now it is time to get some other things measured, especially, right, I need to prep my beurre blanc. Now a standard beurre blanc, or, you know, French for white butter, or beurre blanc, whatever, is made traditionally with, oh wait, no, it wasn't dipping sauce, it was a pina groglata super slaw. That's it. Or was it dipping? I can't remember. Anyway, a standard beurre blanc is an emulsion of lemon juice, dry white wine, shallots, which these little suckers right here, and butter. We're going to be making it a little richer by using heavy cream, and we're also, since we are going off kind of a provincial French sort of style, and also flavors that'll work with the ingredients we have, we're going to be using some dry vermouth, which is a fortified white wine, especially more of Italian, but it also very often used in French cooking. So we're doing that, especially since in the Helm and Cloak Inn, it is known that everything is cooked in or at least with wine. So I just need to first mince up this shallot here. Just cut off the end there to peel it. There we go. Let's see. But I'm also going to be making this a little bit more flavorful and lemony by using that lemon zest to make it a little bit more lemon flavored than wine, since they do emphasize in the source book that it's a hot lemon sauce. So, just get all that peel off. Next up, I am just going to kind of do sort of a radial cut here, like I would doing onion. I mean, just like with an onion, I am, like a standard onion, I am taking advantage of these smaller layers. And then I'm just going to kind of cut along this top here. And then mince as so. And there we go. So, I'm just gonna move. Oh. Actually, no. I'm gonna go ahead and get our saucepan together with our ingredients because there are a few things I need to time out with this. So first I'm just going to add all of those shallots there. And read my own writing. And let's see, I'm going to add half the zest, the lemon zest here. There we go. Because the rest of this is going to be garnish later on. Half of the remaining spice blend. Not all of it, mind you, just half of that remaining. Because the rest of this is going to go into our kind of coulis on top, which I said that we're going to be doing cherry tomatoes. I actually forgot the other part of that. I'm also going to be using olives, which normally in a provincial style dish, a provincial French dish, you would use niçoise olives. Like you would see in a salad niçoise, it's kind of a small niçoise. It's a smaller black olive, very flavorful. But since Kroger didn't have any, we're going to be using some Kalamata olives, which are a Greek olive, a little bit of a stronger flavor, but I think they'll balance pretty well with the tomato as well as the beurre blanc and the rest of the dish ingredients we have with this dish. It'll also add a nice little bit of salt content, especially to the potatoes and fennel that we're going to be working on. So as you see, I've got all this. Let's go ahead and measure out our other ingredients. So for this, you're going to be needing about a half cup of vermouth. Let me just get a half a cup measuring cup here. Just pouring that in there. As well as about 2 tablespoons worth of lemon juice. So we're going to be using about 2 of these wedges here. So there's 1. As well as there is 2. Yep. And I'm not going to add the dairy or anything like that till we're actually closer to serving. So let's go ahead and get those in there. And part of that is there are a couple more things I need to prep, and that would be the tomatoes and olives. So, give my hands a quick rinse there. Whew. And let's see, we've got 20 minutes left on our fennel potatoes for now that we know of, until we check on them, see if they need another 5 to 10 minutes after that. So, just gonna give that a shake. Put that on our stovetop where it's ready and waiting to go. Okay, next, I'm going to take another mixing bowl here. Just kind of shove things around as needed. And put away my vermouth. For now, I might sip on it a little bit later. Okay, so as I said earlier, we're going to be using cherry tomatoes and Kalamata olives, or Kalamata olives. It says it on the Kalamata. There we go. So you're going to be wanting to use a pint of these cherry tomatoes. That's pretty much the only size they usually sell them in, so no worries about trying to measure or anything like that there. And we are just going to first put what's left of that shallot into our saucepan. But we're just going to slice all of these suckers in half. Because we are going to pan roast them. We happen to pan roast our fish. Get them browned and blistery for the top of our fish. And, you know, add a nice little bit of color and acidity to our vegetables, which are currently still roasting. Kind of funny, considering that when I was a kid, I hated cherry tomatoes. But as I got older, especially when I started growing my own vegetables, I've just gotten sort of a flavor obsession with them. I mean, if you want a really nice snack, just, you know, here, let's do it with a bigger one. Cherry tomato. Give it a slice. How do I notify you, Gigi? Notify as in message me on the social medias or on Twitch or anything. You can send me a whisper on here, even though I don't really have Twitch, the actual screen open right now because it slows down my wireless. That's good. So, like, as I showed you earlier, sliced cherry tomato with just a touch of kosher salt. Like freaking candy. Funny thing about salt, it actually tends to make things sweeter sometimes. Yeah, I would say whisper me here on Twitch or shoot me an email at thegluttonousgeek@gmail.com. I guess I could probably open up a Twitch screen if I have it already open. Oh, I do. That's the Facebooks. Do I have the Twitches? Well, I already have the Facebooks open. I can click to Twitch from there. So yeah, if you want to send me a notification, go ahead and shoot me a whisper on here, and I should be able to see it. Hopefully it won't slow me down all that terribly much. I'll just switch it to a screen that doesn't have to constantly load. Email, yes. Yes, my email is thegluttonousgeek@gmail.com. The reason why I don't really have a contact form on my website is that I had a lot of spam coming in through it, which is a pain in the butt, obviously. So, still slicing the tomatoes. I sliced the tomatoes. Okay. Let's see, how am I doing stream? Okay, everything seems to be. There we go. Alrighty. I chopped the tomatoes. Okay, we got 13 minutes left on those potatoes and fennel, at least until I check it. Let's see here. Goodness. I'm trying to think of other fun stuff that's coming up or been working on. Oh, right. I'm going to be gaming on Slady's Atlanta on October 2nd, starting, I want to say, at 4 p.m. Yeah. God, I can't even remember what game we're running. I think we're running D&D. I need to get more info on that. I'll also be on Little Red Dot's Sunday Fun Day episode on the 27th, which I think, off the top of my head, I think it's a horror game, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I signed up for it because it looked like fun, but honestly, I've had so many various games of all different genres that it's kind of like, okay, what did I actually ask for again? I can't remember. Oh, my D&D game with Strike just started up, and it's a 3.5 game. We're not performing it, though. You know, who knows? Maybe if it works out well enough, we might start it. But yeah, playing a dragon, which is essentially a fighter with a lot of dragon powers, like weapon and dragon scaled skin. It's pretty cool. I'm trying to play it a little bit like if Yennefer from The Witcher was a Witcher, not a sorceress or something. Oh, those beautiful tomatoes. Should be tasty. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see. So we got our tomatoes. And next up, olives. You're going to want a half a cup, or was it a quarter cup? Yeah, half a cup of pitted Kalamata olives. So we're just going to get a spoon out because I don't want to be too much of a heathen here. Go. It's a good amount. Okay. Oh, this is going to make a mess. Okay. Just going to drain the juice into there. Okay. Alright. Switching back to the board. I'm just going to give those a rough chop. As well as I can. And that we want a little bit of a finer chop than what we did with tomatoes. Just so it's not overwhelmingly too powerful with the salt content and olives there. I know not everyone's a fan of the texture, but it also just distributes the flavor a little bit better, especially with these tomatoes. Let's see. Hey Strike, thanks for the sub. Glad to have you on. Bloody Twitch alerts failed me. Oh gosh. No, I understand. I also know that Dot has her resistance game with God, what's it? God, why does the name happen to escape me right now? Gosh. All right, so we got our tomato and olive mixture right here. Just gonna throw this over here for now. And next up, goodness, it's a solo game with Stiver. Oh, that actually sounds like a lot of fun, though. That may have up lurking too. Nice. Well, tell them I said hello. And I miss their faces. Oh gosh. Dang it, I miss everybody. Alright, I just gotta see what I am doing here. Right. Let's just get a board here where I can dry my fish off. Now, the big thing with crispy skin salmon is you've got to make sure that skin is as dry as possible. Holy crap! No. Oh crap. Okay, so I just found out that Ruth Bader Ginsburg just passed away. I'm scared, guys. Crap. Right, so who wants to help me immigrate to New Zealand? Or Canada. Right now I'm aiming towards New Zealand, though. Oh boy. God, I hope that... I hope that we manage to give them the same hell that they gave us about Obama and trying to appoint another Supreme Court justice. Oh, gosh. At this point, I'm thinking about just anywhere that'd take me. I'd go, yeah, I'm... It's times when you feel like you're in the bloody apocalypse. McConnell said he would confirm one right now. Well, crap. Oh my gosh, that's... Oh. So, yeah, rest in peace, Our Lady of Justice. You will be missed, and we owe so much to you in your service. Thank you for your service, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Man. Talk of Justice Ted Cruz or oh my gosh. So yeah, they have the votes in theory. Oh man, I'm... You know, my husband's out smoking a pipe right now. After I get the photos for this, I think I might just join him. It's Friday. It's Friday, right? I've already been working on a gin and lemonade. I might pour something a little bit stronger. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can we RPG folks just buy ourselves an island and start our own country? Or something? I mean, can someone win, like, the lottery, like, 5 times and just create sort of a utopia for gamers? Or something? I don't know. Let's just, you know, hang out here and stream from our little island in the sun. While the rest of the world burns around us, I suppose. Well, I know I'm being... I'm not being all that optimistic, but, yeah. I think that seems like a good idea. I'm aiming for lottery winning. Yes, let's all win the lottery and start our own country. Man. Okay, but yeah, so I'm patting this dry as much as I possibly can. Scales, for the most part, are gone off of this. I've got about 4 tail fillets here of Atlantic salmon. About a 1/2 inch thick, about right here. Just try to get that as dry as humanly possible. Okay? Because that's going to give its nice little crispiness on the skin that we want. Let's see, how are we doing on these veggies? Oh wow, yeah, I would say the veggies are done. Okay, let's, we got about 3 minutes left on it. I'm just going to let it do its thing while waiting, and right, I need to get my skillet hot. So, first, I'm going to preheat my skillet here. Let's switch to our stove cam, and I could show you off my fun, my birthday present from my husband. He got me a cast iron skillet with my logo on it. Isn't that cool? So, yeah, just gotta get that skillet nice and hot. I'm gonna put it on to about medium heat at the moment. Let's see. Just gonna set a timer for about 3 minutes to get that nice and hot. And The fancy backwards logo. Hey, Abe! Oh my god! I haven't seen you in forever! I miss you! Oh, man. Oh. I know that was probably pretty darn loud. Oh, gosh. I'm looking forward to when we can all hang. Okay, that's getting nice and hot. Let's see, what was I doing? Let's see. Veggies. We'll need to move those. And then I need plates and things. And a wire whisk and butter. So, alright. So for our beurre blanc, another thing I have to do is get our butter ready. You're going to need about, let's see, half a cup of butter, which is approximately a single stick of unsalted butter from an American grocery store. Or, 4 ounces. Just have to get this out of here, as well as my heavy cream. Okay. And, oh, by the way, I think you guys are going to like this, especially if you're Dragon Con goers. So, I got some things on Dragon Con Virtual. One is this. If you've been to Dragon Con, you might recognize the Marriott carpet. And the second is this. RPG oven mitt. It makes me happy. Alright, so our veggies are, I want to say, very much done. Let's just get those out and you can see what I'm talking about. Whew. Oh wow, there we go. Done. Dunzo. Let's get those out of the way and switch to a pot holder that can handle 400 some degrees. Alright, so I'm just going to take all of that stuff that I just roasted. Let's switch to tripod cam. And I'm going to, well, here. Ah! This is a bad idea. Switch to the stove cam here. Just kind of shift that over. I'm just going to take all that wrap that up. I'm going to stick that back in the mixing bowl that I had mixed it in earlier. I'm just going to stick that there to cool. All right, so our skillet should be nice and hot. Now I need to add olive oil to coat. Let's see here. Barely a time for my stuff nowadays. Don't I know that? All right, so about roughly a tablespoon of olive oil. Just going to let that spread out and get nice and warm. Okay, and when it starts shimmering, I can add my fish, but first I'm just going to get 2 plates here, or just a plate here, so I have something to put the fish when it's done cooking to keep it warm. All right, that is nice and hot. So, switching back to our prep cam, I'm just going to go ahead and season 2 of these fillets, just 2. Because I don't want to have it sitting. All right, so there's 1 and 2. And then set a timer for about 5 minutes. Wash the fishy bits off my hands and turn that fan on. Okay. Where'd my towel go? Ah, here we are. Always know where your towel is. Okay. Whew. So while that is cooking, I'm just going to go ahead and season the flesh here with some of that salt. And you can see back here, I am not quite yet turned the sauce on because I need to cut up my butter. So let's just move that back to our prep cam. So yes, a half a cup of butter, i.e. an entire stick of butter. We're going to need that cut into cubes. So roughly 1-inch cubes. It's a good way to go. Yeah, that's about a 1/2 inch, but meh. These are about inches. Tape the 1/2 tablespoons. Bam. Okay. There's that. See how we doing on that fish. Looking pretty darn good. And a good way to indicate is if it's cooked about halfway up, then it's a good time to start flipping. But we're not quite at that point, especially since when we flip it, we'll be able to cook it for about 15 to 30 seconds total on the other side. Just to kind of kiss the heat some to make sure that it, gets the proper temperature and all that. So that's going. In the meantime, there's some other things we need to do to make sure that our dish works out deliciously. Move the fish for example. So, let's see here. I've got a thing and another thing. So we got our veggies that we just roasted up. Just gonna stick to our prep cam here. Look at them. Don't they look delicious? Just gonna take a wedge of lemon juice. Just kind of squeeze that on there. Add a little bit of acidity. And then cover that back up to keep it warm. Next up, let's see, what was I? Lemon juice. Did I add lemon juice to that? Or, 2 wedges, 1 wedge. Did I miss something? I might have. Or I think probably I used that last wedge probably as I finish off the dish. Ooh, that smells delicious. Okay. Let's move our fish back. Because we've got about a minute left on our fish on that side. Oh boy. Get this butter out of the way. All right. So, now, let's see, 30 more seconds. And as you see, it's starting to come up there. All right. Alright, and we're back. And Duo Legend is telling me to make him a sandwich, but in French. Oh, is baby so afraid of those sharp knives in the kitchen that he can't make his own sandwich? Oh, my heart weeps for you. And then saying fish crepes. Meh. Okay, so, let's see. As I said earlier, we've got that lemon wedge here with our cherry tomatoes and Kalamata olives, which I wish they were niçoise. I really did, but I wasn't able to find any. But as you can see, they are just getting nice and blistery and reducing a little bit and mingling with all those flavors we got going. And it looks like we got our reduction on our beurre blanc. Nice and down to about 25% left of what I put in there. It's like, do I like soup? I do like soup. But I have a feeling that's another trolling comment, so. And that, sir, I believe, since you just met me, you should be calling me vous, not tu. So, our tomatoes are done. Aren't those beautiful? Let's just stick them back in there, into this mixing bowl that we had earlier. And I would cover it with foil, but honestly, we are pretty much almost ready to plate, so we are not going to need to really worry about that so much. There we go. Not gonna lie, that smells excellent. All right, just gonna add a bit of kosher salt to that. And a little bit of oil. All right, we are down in my reduction. That means I need to turn my heat on my sauce down to low and switch the cam up here. And now, I just need to find where I put all that butter. Okay, so now I just need to add 2 of these cubes of butter at a time and just keep that moving. It may have reduced a little too much. All right. Looks like our cast iron skillet is nice and clean, so I'm just going to let that dry a bit. In the meantime, butter is melted. Let's add about 2 more cubes of butter. Or, I mean, you could just do this. The important thing is just to keep that butter moving. To make sure that emulsion works. Okay. Though admittedly, this is not really all that terribly easy to do with only 2 hands. So, just gonna do this and keep moving it, keep moving it. Here. Oh. Tomato soup is the best. So it is interesting how the spice blend that I put in there earlier has colored it. Unless, no, those are definitely shallots. Oh, I'll get that later. Or, whew. as I said, we have this currently over low heat, so it is slowly melting it as I'm just keeping that butter moving and just keeping this emulsion going for this bird roll. There we go. Alrighty. That is looking absolutely beautiful. And you don't necessarily have to season it all in addition because we've already added that seasoned blend, spice blend earlier. Okay. All right. That is finished. So, this can go away. Fan can turn off. And I am just going to stick a lid on that to keep warm. Turn the heat off. And now it's time to do a bit of plating. Okay. All right, so back to our prep. So now we just need to take the fish we got and determine which fillet looks the best. Let's say probably this one at this point. So this one or that one. I'm kind of aiming towards this one though because it's a little smaller and I'm going to be using a smaller plate for my plating. So let's get our two best looking ones going here. So first, like I said, I'm gonna need our roast vegetables. And we'll just use a pair of tongs to get that out. I think I'm liking this plate the best so far. Okay. And just stick this one on here. Now I just need that beurre blanc I made. Take a little ladle. Finally, for garnish, I'm just going to do a bit of lemon zest, as well as some of those chopped fennel fronds. That we did earlier. Now, granted, would I normally suggest serving on a plate this small? No, not normally. You usually want a larger plate to be able to cut into this, but it does make a beautiful serving option, especially for photos, which this is basically photo ready at this point. I'm going to go ahead and make up that other plate real quick, just so you can see me do that again. So let's go with this small one here. A little bit of the tomato olive mix. Round. And on top, and finally, a bit of those fennel fronds. Oh, right. Pfft. Stupid me. We need sauce. Here we go. Right. Now we can add all of our pretty garnishes. Okay, well there we go. Helm and Cloak's lemon fish. So crispy skin salmon with a lemon bourbon with kind of a medieval warming powder, poudreful spice blend mixed in fresh thyme. Anyway, that brings us to the end of our episode. I know we ended about half an hour early, but I need to get photos of these before they are no longer photogenic. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today on Gluttonous Geek Presents Munchies and Minis. Next episode, I think we're probably going to go to Helm and Cloak again from Baldur's Gate with some root spice tuber and basically stuffed Cornish game hens with kind of a wine, sugary wine or honey wine glaze. I haven't quite developed that recipe yet, but that should be for next week, next episode, hopefully Wednesday, if not sometime during the week. Thank you so much for joining me again. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and stay safe, stay sane, and stay you. My name is Catherine Barsonistas. You've been watching the Gluttonous Geek Presents Munchies and Minis. Have a great evening. Goodbye. Mwah.